After surviving the events of a previous operation, a new deadly mission arises for Tyler, who must now rescue a Georgian gangster's family from a prison and safely take them to Austria. But this won't be an easy task, as several criminals are trying to locate them. After narrowly escaping from his last mission, Tyler Rake recovers from near-fatal injuries in a hospital in Dubai with the support of his partner Nick. Gradually, with extensive treatment, he regains his mobility and decides to leave behind his life as a mercenary and retire to an isolated cabin in the mountains of Austria in search of peace with what little he has. However, his peace is shattered when a stranger approaches him and asks for help. This unknown man reveals that Ketavan, the sister of Tyler's ex-wife, Mia, along with her 2 children, Sandro and Nina, are in grave danger as they are imprisoned alongside the dangerous gangster and father of the children, David Rodiani, in Kachuri prison in Georgia. Despite his recent retirement, Tyler faces a difficult choice: return to a life of dangers and battles to save the family of someone he once loved and had a child with, or ignore the plea for help and continue his journey of self-exile. Driven by empathy and a desire for redemption, Tyler decides to accept the challenge and begins to prepare himself physically for the mission. He invites the siblings Nick and Yaz to a dangerous mission: infiltrate the prison and rescue Ketavan and her children. Nick, essentially Tyler's right hand, organizes all the steps of the mission and secures an insider who facilitates entry into the prison. The plan is simple: rescue the family without drawing the attention of David and all the Nagazi prisoners. They begin the operation well prepared with armored vehicles and heavy weaponry. Meanwhile, an agent who is assisting marks the path in the cell where the family is located. The agent continues their action by disabling the cameras and eliminating any traces that may be left behind. Tyler arrives heavily armed, pays the agent, and thus manages to infiltrate the prison. He reaches Ketavan, who eagerly awaits him. Her son Sandro, not understanding what's happening, tries to get his father's attention, but she warns him that Tyler is there to rescue them. However, things quickly go awry when Nina drops her teddy bear, making noise. David wakes up and alerts his loyal followers in the prison with whistles, causing the prisoners to start making noise and yelling, triggering the prison alarm. Tyler tries to find another escape route. Manages to open a door and is faced with dozens of men who begin to attack him. With no alternatives, he ends up firing shots at them, injuring some and eliminating others. He orders them to back off and places a bomb on the next door, which explodes and frees him from the danger that existed there. He calls for Yaz's help as he needs another escape option. While he tries to get out of there, the prisoners initiate a rebellion. Yaz and Nick find a spot for extraction, but can only manage to take the children. In the midst of the chaos, David catches up with them and attacks in a violent confrontation with Tyler. Tyler manages to get rid of the knife. David grabs a shovel, misses the target, breaks it, and injures Tyler, who fights back by burning David's face on the fireplace grates and, with his bare hands, tearing David's hand and striking him in the neck. With David out of the way, Tyler and Ketavan can escape from the prison and find themselves surrounded by the angry prisoners' rebellion against the police, forcing them to fight with all their might to make their way through the crowd. After running out of ammunition, they both continue to fight using only a knife and whatever they find in front of them, aided by the police officers trying to control the uprising. With Ketavan's help, Tyler manages to throw a grenade, but he is also stunned after the explosion, affecting his hearing. Tyler manages to get up and restrain the police officers, who also come at him. They make it to a safe area where finally, Nick and Yaz break in by exploding a bomb at the door, thus freeing themselves from the prison. The situation doesn't improve when Yas says that the Nagazi members already know about David and seek revenge. During the journey, they are pursued by cars driven by angry gang members. Shots are fired at them on the road as they struggle to escape. They manage to shoot and eliminate the first pursuit on the road, but more enemy reinforcements arrive with level 4 military-grade weapons. During this intense pursuit, the enemies manage to explode one of the cars and continue chasing the others until they reach Tyler's. Shortly, Nick and Yaz arrive just in time to provide cover. And they are forced to abandon their vehicles and continue the journey on foot. Nick warns that the train is leaving in 60 seconds. Desperate, they manage to get on the train, but they are immediately pursued by a helicopter that opens fire on them. Tyler readies heavy weaponry and manages to take down the helicopter, but another one approaches, firing close to him, pushing him inside the train. The helicopter leaves a team of 4 men who, upon entering the train, are surprised by gunfire from Nick. She takes a shot to the shoulder, but still takes control of the situation and defeats the attackers. Meanwhile, other invaders set bombs on the doors and manage to enter the train. Tyler, always prepared, fights back with gunfire, engaging in a fierce battle against the 3 invaders by himself. While Yaz and the family hide, Tyler checks on Nick to make sure she's okay, and at that moment, the train is suddenly strafed by gunfire from the helicopter. Nick covers Tyler, and he manages to shoot down the helicopter with a machine gun. Nick realizes something terrible. The train is without brakes. Tyler, understanding the gravity of the situation, asks Yaz to protect the family at all costs. In that moment of concern, the train derails and capsizes, but they manage to escape. Jorab, David's brother, is consumed by hatred after the recent events. Gathering his associates, they discuss the decisions and decide on the extensive list of enemies they would seek vengeance against. But Jorab makes it clear that it's not just about revenge. Meanwhile, Ketavin's son, Sandro, distressed by the situation, questions his mother about his father, asking if he's dead. When Tyler reveals the truth about the attempted murder of Sandro's mother by his father, the young boy becomes furious and rebels against the harsh reality before him. Jorab, David's older and overprotective brother, visits the morgue to see his brother's body. At that moment, he is haunted by memories of a childhood marked by their father's aggressiveness, which left Jorab with permanent hearing loss. Moved by a mixture of intense emotions, he takes out his anger on David's body, laughing disturbingly as he deals with the pain and complexity of his turbulent past. Yaz is on the phone and reveals to the boy nearby that they will arrive in Vienna in 45 minutes. In a gesture of concern, he asks Sandro if he's okay and leaves, leaving the phone behind. Meanwhile, Ketavin ends up confessing to Nick that Tyler was married to Ketavin's sister, a revelation that leaves Nick upset for not having been told earlier. Sandro, intrigued and driven by a desire for revenge for his father, picks up the phone and, hesitatingly, calls his uncle Jorab, revealing the location and fueling plans of revenge in his father's name. In a moment of vulnerability, Tyler shares his emotions with Ketavin about Mia, his ex-wife, and what Mia must think of him. She comforts him by sharing the anguish of a mother, mentioning that the worst thing in the world is witnessing the death of one's own child. These words leave Tyler in contemplation. Finally, the group arrives at a safe location where documentation for the family is being arranged. Nick confronts Tyler about his lies, expressing her displeasure. However, she adds that if Tyler had been honest from the beginning, she would have accepted the mission without hesitation, emphasizing the importance of trust and transparency in their teamwork. Jorab, determined, prepares his loyal men for the counterattack, disregarding warnings that he's leading them down an irreversible path. In a moment of confessions, Tyler talks to Sanro, explaining his choices and apologizing for what happened. However, Sanro, moved by impulse, reveals that he warned his uncle about their location. Soon, they spot Zorob's helicopter approaching. Tyler alerts Ketavan and her team about the threat. When Zorob and his men arrive, Ketavan discovers Sanro's betrayal and warns that they are about to be killed. Sanro, torn between his blood and his loyalty to the Nagazis, ultimately chooses to go with his uncle. Meanwhile, Nick's car is hit, forcing her to continue the escape on foot along with Yaz. Amid relentless gunfire, they fight for their lives. The battle intensifies when a support helicopter is brought down by Zorob. In the heat of the fight, Sanro asks one of his uncle's accomplices if they intend to eliminate his mother, and he responds that if he wanted his mother alive, he shouldn't have made contact. Nick faints after a confrontation, and Tyler catches her, preventing her from falling off the building. Zorob finds them and threatens to kill Nick, but she reacts swiftly by shooting the glass holding Zorob, leaving him hanging alongside Tyler. Tyler manages to save Nick by tossing her to safety before facing Zorob in an intense fight. While Nick arrives in time to save Ketavan and Nina, Yaz joins them. Even though he's severely wounded, Tyler and Zorob continue their fight, and Tyler, with skill and determination, gains the upper hand. They escape in one of Zorob's helicopters, but during the confrontation, Yaz ends up being killed by Zorob, leaving a trail of sadness and loss in the group. Zorob, enraged, ruthlessly kills one of his loyal accomplices. This happens after the accomplice tries to convince him to surrender, as the entire country's police force is after them. Sanro is shocked to witness the calculated coldness of his uncle, revealing his cruel and merciless nature. Back at the cabin, Tyler and Ketavan reunite with Mia, Tyler's ex-wife. He apologizes to Mia for going on a mission before the death of their son due to cancer. Jorb contacts Tyler, demanding that they meet at a nearby airstrip for negotiations. The twist of fate is revealed when Tyler discovers that Zorb is holding Sandro hostage. Determined, Tyler refuses to comply with Zorb's demands. Nick, concerned for Tyler's safety, tries to stop him from going alone. However, Tyler rejects her help and asks her to stay to protect the family. Tyler heads to the airstrip with the intention of putting an end to Zorb's spread once and for all. He assaults the hideout, taking down everything and everyone in his path. But he doesn't come out unscathed. Even though seriously wounded, Tyler locates Zorb and Sandro in a nearby church, where he discovers the young boy is wearing an explosive vest. With unwavering courage, Tyler demands that Zorb release Sandro, emphasizing that he's just a child. In a tense moment, Zorb manipulates Sandro, forcing him to take Tyler's gun and point it at him, asking him to shoot to avenge his father's death. However, Sandro struggles against his instincts, unable to commit such an act. Zorb, feeling betrayed, realizes Nick's presence as she approaches, armed. Holding Sandro as a human shield, Zorb threatens to take the boy's life if Nick shoots. Tyler gives a command to Sandro, who manages to take control of the explosive vest and bring down his uncle. The confrontation culminates in a frantic shootout between the three, resulting in Nick being gravely wounded. Meanwhile, Tyler faces Zorb. Eliminating him. Finally, the police arrive at the church. Nick and Tyler are imprisoned, and in prison, Mia visits Tyler to inform him that Kedavin and her children are now under preventive custody due to negotiations with the Americans. Tyler thanks Mia for standing by his son, and she tells him that their son admired him. After being let out of prison, Tyler is approached by a stranger who offers him the opportunity to return to the world of missions. Tyler initially refuses, insisting he'll only do it if Nick is present. To his surprise, Nick is already there, anticipating his hesitation. Tyler asks the man's name, but he says it's not relevant. What's relevant is who he works for, a rather ugly fellow. Don't forget to support the channel. Subscribe, like the video, comment on what you thought of the movie, or continue from here by choosing one of the videos on the screen. We'll wrap it up here. Until next time.